And this is FSD Beta 12.3.3. And today, this drive is going to be the Lakeland and back drive. Although, I guess we're going to have the sunlight in our eyes the entire way. So, look at the bookmarks below. I typically try and put the relevant bits there. Otherwise, watch it back at twice the speed or whatever. Nice. So I wish, and this has been a long-standing complaint of mine about the beta, or FSD, I guess, is what it is now. I wish it would do more what I refer to as trucker turns, where instead of starting the left turn immediately after crossing the stop line, I wish it would pull out a little bit more and then do a harder left in order to be better aligned with the lane. Because like back there, it didn't align itself with the lane when it made the left. It did a wide left, basically. And, yeah, I didn't like that. And it would be avoided if it just pulled further into the intersection before committing to its left. Seems to be a lot of impatient drivers today. So this is rush hour traffic, more or less. So this is going to be more of a FSD in high traffic. So this light I almost always get red. The next one is going to be hit or miss. I had one yesterday where the next light, it almost got me rear-ended because the light turned yellow and it started to slam on the brakes. But the way this light is made, there's tons of runaway time. That audible alert is because of the barrels. The way this light's made, there's a lot of lead time on the yellow light, and there's two stop lines, one in front of the train tracks and one after the train tracks. And for some reason, and I've emailed Tesla about it before to the FSD beta at tesla.com address there. Locally, we all stop after the train tracks. And then once there's a car there, then you stop before the train tracks. So, yeah. Okay. This one's better. Last time it turned yellow, like here, and it slammed on the brakes to try and stop by this stop line. But there's actually another stop line further up that, generally speaking, most of the locals will end up pulling forward to. Like, so I would expect to pull forward beyond the tracks at this point. So for the most part, the newer version is fine. I feel like 12.3 was a little better than 3.3. I can't really put my finger on why. It felt more solid and stable. Like I've had some where the lane change decision making on this one was to cut off or merge in, or try and merge into like a tow truck that was left to me on the interstate. And I know interstate driving is technically a different stack than 12, but it's it's still weird. So personally, I've also stopped using the auto speed setting, mainly because of what it's doing right now, where it's going 45 and a 45, but all the local traffic aims to try and go a little bit above that. That behavior I've seen fixed in 12.3.3. It seemed like before, it didn't matter whether you used auto speed or not, it was always trying to auto speed, but now it seems better. We're getting light braking for a blinking yellow light. Every time it blinks yellow, we brake. That's a regression. It didn't used to do that on the older versions. I will say, merging onto the highway is a fantastic improvement. In version 12 as a whole. Here it's going to drop to 60. My profile in the car is currently set to average, so it tends to not do stupid shit like that. Funny, one of the common complaints people have about FSD at the moment is that it does not drive like they do. And it's like, well, no, it's driving like the collective of all the good want to see, ideally, as I approach the end of this on-ramp here, is the lane that truck is in ends. And see, I don't know why it turned the truck blue. Blue denotes that it intends to change into that lane, but I don't want to be in the right lane here. I need to stay in this lane. That lane ends. is traffic behind me, so the expectation as I approach the toll booth is to not become a burden. I'm paying attention. Maintain the left lane and just go right on through. Fantastic. Decided to get extremely close to my bumper as a result of that poor lane change decision making there. It was I put my signal on, and he thought I was changing lanes, so he was trying to move immediately into the pocket that I was opening up. But that lane change, not good. Not even close. So what we want to see here is we want to maintain the lane. Historically, it has done a thing where it tries to change lanes halfway through the intersection. So now we'll see what happens. It's interesting. I guess it would see it out of the repeater camera. That's the left camera. What does the right camera show? You know what? Maybe it's seeing it through the pillar camera. It's seeing a blob here, so it knows there's something one lane over, which I think is interesting. I'm not sure how it's discerning that. Probably through the pillar camera. That's got to be the pillar camera doing that. This is like the world's longest red light. So we want to maintain the lane. I do not have a lead car this time. And it maintained it just fine. That's what we want. So I don't really have enough time today to record whether or not the target problem is still there. I assume it is. The navigation data hasn't really changed, so the breadcrumbs that it follows are still the same. Traffic I've seen on this road at this hour. People doing boneheaded stuff. So we're also not getting into that turn lane, but we're also at like a super low speed, so I don't know. I mean, that's been fixed since I think 11.4.9. But yeah, it seems like we're doing good. We should do a right on red. We come to a stop, and then we scoot forward. There's a vehicle there, it passes, and then we go. Beautiful, and that's not the direction I'm going in, so I'm going to stop it. And that's that. Thank you. This is the return trip, although I'm starting it in a slightly different place. I had to hop between destinations there for a minute. But it's going to run back to the same place with the same stuff and all that stuff. We're just getting an extra couple miles of distance in here. So unmarked road, handled the speed bump fine. This used to be a school. Looks like they've plowed it over and built a new school. And then they're probably just going to put fields where the old school was. Super slow about making a left turn. Little slow about making that right turn. But we're just plugging along. This is where the return trip normally starts. Left turn. So at this point we just need to stay in this lane, and then we'll end up at the 570 on ramp. So on this road the speed limit is not 35, so I'm not sure why it is going 35. I'm fairly positive the speed limit here is like 40 or 45. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. But it's a red light anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So we have a green light, so this should work just fine. The goal is it's got to take this turn and immediately move over 3 lanes. Exactly what that Scion is doing? No. Whatever. Almost what Scion is doing, but there, it did it. Yay! I disagree with the speed limit. There's a construction barrel audible again. Nobody's behind me, so I'm just going to let it do its thing. I think there's an Amazon truck behind me. Oh, it blipped up and then blipped right back down again. Interesting. Alright. So now there's an Amazon vehicle behind me, so I'm going to get up to speed here. Because otherwise I'm just going to be an obstruction. There we go. When I started the video, the wrong profile was loaded, but I'm just going to run with it for now. So auto speed was going to the destination and then not auto speed coming back from the destination. So I understand that lane change. I would not have done it. The instant that I saw that truck was getting off the interstate, I would have gone ahead and just aborted it. But this should be a pretty clean cut and dry back end of the trip. So in the interest of science, we'll see how long I can keep my hand off the wheel, just for giggles, with my eyes on the road. So my hand is now off the wheel. I am just looking straight ahead. initiated that lane change. There it is. So we'll call that, out loud I'll call it about 2 minutes, but I'm going to put it in the description below. I'll look at the timestamps in the video after it's posted to YouTube and math it out. It was about 2 minutes of hands-free there. Which, on the highway, if there was an option to turn the automatic lane changing off, so it had to be manually initiated lane changes, I would say yes, you can make this thing hands-free. I think the main... Oh, what the hell's that guy doing? That's not good. I would be changing lanes. No, that's not... I don't like that. Yeah, so if they made the lane changes manually initiated on the highways, or at least gave an option for that, I could get behind saying hands-free on the highways. But the instant you throw in those automatic lane changes, it gets a little wonky. Now we need to be changing into the left lane. This lane ends. Good car. Okay, so I like that it aborted the lane change because that truck got into my pocket. That was good, and that was what I would have wanted to see. Not truck, van, I guess? I don't know, that Penske thing. So again, for me, as a local, I know I'm getting off the next exit. I would already go ahead and get back into the rightmost lane. I think I understand the logic of why it doesn't do that, which is if there's a vehicle in the emergency lane, it doesn't want to be there, just in case. But I'm like a mile and a half out from the exit, and I can see, you know, based on how fast that white truck is moving, and the fact that I know I'm going to be lane changing in 0.6 miles anyways, I might as well get into that lane. Now I've got a red car to contend with, and I'm going 67, and most people around me are trying to go 70 or 80. And now what's going to end up happening is the car is going to pass me, and it's going to try and get in between the red car and a pickup truck. So it should start braking around about now. There it is. It should be signaling to let the truck know that I want to get in between. But it waited too long. Now it's going to cut the pickup truck off, which is not good. So it had like a mile and a half to do all that, and it ended up pulling off a bit of a dick maneuver. Which, yes, I'm getting off the interstate anyways, but if this guy follows me, you know, he could be all like, "Oh, you cut me off," and all that stupid shit. want to see it get into the center lane. Good. That is exactly what we want. Good, 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 good. Brake tapping for the yellow light. My hand was off the wheel, my bad. I'm finding my instinct is on straight roads, I end up taking my hands off the wheel. Because straight roads are straight roads, right? I'm not stressed out about the system working on straight roads, so I just take my hands off the wheel because I don't want to screw the system up. When I'm on roads with turns and curves, or where I'm expecting to do a turn or a curve, then I instinctively put my hand back on the wheel because that's where I expected to screw up. So, or any scenario I'm uncomfortable in, right? Like I'm comfortable here, therefore my hand comes off the wheel. I'm uncomfortable in other situations, and therefore my hands go back on the wheel. Oh. Yellow light. Okay, so it looks like we'll have some construction stuff up ahead. That's new. And it's going to have to go from left lane to right lane, and we'll see how it handles that zipper. Oop, that was a false start there. So I'm going to hit the accelerator a little bit. The light turned green and it did not want to go, which was weird. What I think might have happened, and I'll look at the footage back, is the car on the other side started going over the tracks and moving forward, and I think this car didn't know how to handle that. So there's construction. And the car next to me is barely going to let me in. I think that was more... that audible is the construction cones. I think it was more of a begrudging let me in. Had a human been driving, I would have gotten behind the car that I was passing, because you're going towards the lane ending, right? You don't want to race to get in front of the other car. That just makes you look like an asshole. not hit the brakes until start hitting the brakes until the light was red. Huh. Been hitting a lot of red lights on this trip. So, yeah, 0 disengagements, 1 intervention. I had to hit the accelerator a little bit to get it across the US 92 back there near the Ford dealership. Did not like the fact that it wasn't braking for the yellow light just then, but it did brake when it was red. So they still need to sort some of that out. So while it was 0 disengagement, 1 intervention, there were some anomalies here and there that I didn't like the lane changing tomfoolery when it was getting off of the 570 and going towards Harden Blvd, where it half changed into the other lane, confused the truck behind me, pissed off the truck behind me, and that just reinforces that the car drives like a tourist. I don't classify it as a teenager anymore. I classify it as a tourist because it seems to have an understanding of what it needs to do. It lacks local knowledge of how to do it where you are. So, but yeah, no, it's decent all around. Thank you for watching.